Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your week, as it is Sunday evening, which that means we will talk about, obviously, the week weather. So we're going to start off first by talking about what's on tap for tonight. Well, obviously, we will be talking about our cold Arctic air that filters through tonight, breezy winds continuing, sub-freezing lows starting Monday morning, and then also we're going to go on and talk about a much colder Monday and Tuesday with widespread below freezing mornings. We're going to talk about as well our warming trend though as we get into mid to late week with return to above normal temperatures and potential showers slash thunderstorm activity as we get into the end of this week. So if you've not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around a good 6 people watching right now, actually 9 people, and we only have 1 like. That's it. 9 people are watching and we only have 1 like, and I definitely can see a lot more people inside the chat. So go on and hit that like button if you have not already. Also make sure you go and hit the subscribe button. If you have not already, we're at 708 trying to get to 800. Right now we're around 92 away. And then also share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to, because it is free and you can change your mind at any time. You know, if you want to share it or subscribe, you can change it at any time. So share it to your friend, like I said, family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to. So what's currently going on? Well, right now, if we go in and look at what's going on throughout the entire United States, well, we're going to talk about South Carolina on a local scale first. Nothing going on. But if we scroll our way out, you can see that we do in fact have some snowfall going on over here. You see Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York City, going on in Connecticut, New Hampshire, going on over there inside of Vermont, and then even some snowfall going on in the Ohio Valley, going up into the Midwest and the Great Lakes area. We also do have some rainfall moving on over here in the west. Rainfall moving on to the Pacific Northwest, going on over here into like eastern Washington, for example. Cloud cover right now seems to be more on the clear side, meaning that we are not expecting really any sort of cloud cover for now. We will see some cloud cover later, though. You go on and look at the future cloud cover pushes forward. As we go all the way into tonight, here's 1 o'clock in the morning. We see cloud cover now in the upstate a little bit. By 3 o'clock in the morning, go all the way to 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. Still seeing some cloud cover over here inside the upstate. But then you get to around 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's actually still pretty clear. So I will say that, we're definitely going to start off clear as we go into tomorrow. But as we go into that afternoon, that cloud cover will build on the eastern side, especially over there in the PD, Grand Strand areas as well. That goes all the way to 10 o'clock p.m. Then it clears out a little bit. Going into Tuesday morning here, we see some cloud cover now over inside of the upstate a little bit. Goes all the way into Tuesday at noon. And then Tuesday going into like the evening hours, you can see cloud cover here and there throughout the upstate and the Midland areas. But one thing that I am looking for is definitely no cloud cover, and that will cause radiational cooling. Now, right now, obviously winds are a bit breezy, so that might hamper it a little bit. But as we get into tomorrow night, going into Tuesday morning, that might definitely have to be a night that we might have to watch out for some of that radiational cooling. Current temperatures right now, you have around a good 45 in Somerville, as well as 46 in Charleston, 44 in Georgetown, as well as 46 in Beaufort, 47 Hilton Head Island, as well as 42 in Orangeburg, 40 Aiken, and 38 in Columbia, 44 in Myrtle Beach, as well as 40 in Sumter, 40 Florence, and 37 in Lugoff, 35 in Newberry, and 35 in Lawrence, 33 in Greenville, as well as 31 in Spartanburg, 32 Gaffney, and 33 York and Rock Hill. Air quality, for the most part, we are nice and good inside the good category, so no concerns here. Low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 26 in Spartanburg and Greenville, as well as 27 in Rock Hill, 28 in Camden, as well as 29 in Sherrod, 29 in Dillon, as well as 29 in Florence, 28 Sumter, and 28 in Columbia, 28 in Aiken and Orangeburg, as well as 27 in Barnwell, 28 Walterboro, and 29 inside of Moncks Corner, 31 in Charleston, 33 inside of Hilton Head Island, and 28 in Georgetown. Now, if we go into our high temperatures for tomorrow, not any better. 44 in Greenville, 42 Spartanburg, as well as 43 in Rock Hill, 45 in Lawrence, Newberry, 47 in Columbia, 47 Camden, Sumter, Florence, Dillon, Sherrod, all 47 in Orangeburg. Charleston is included in there. Walterboro is included in there. 46 from Myrtle Beach all the way over into Georgetown and Moncks Corner, and then 49 in Hilton Head Island. Rainfall as we go into tonight, going into tomorrow. Rainfall is not expected. No snowfall is expected. Nothing like that. So we are good in terms of precipitation just as a whole. Now for the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at a 38. Why are we at a 38? Well, clouds are leaving. There still will be some tonight, but not bad for the most part. Then, as well, it's going to be very cold. I mean, below freezing temperatures, widespread below freezing temperatures. That will drop. That will up the score for sure. Also a bit breezy. And then for the most part, I don't really see anything else too crazy right now. So I think we're pretty good there. But another thing which we'll talk about it that right now is the wind chills. Wind chills will also be down relatively low. We go into the wind chills for tonight. I mean, we're seeing teens to 20s. Let me see if I can go in and find my list right here. There it is right there. So if we go in and look at the wind chills for tonight, I mean, you can see wind chills down to the teens, maybe even the mid-teens up there in the very far upstate. You see 20s all the way over into like Moncks Corner to Charleston to Georgetown, Myrtle Beach. So yeah, if you have any plants outside, pets, check on neighbors, all of that stuff is definitely a need as you go into tonight, just because it's going to be cold as you go throughout tonight. SPC outlook for tonight, thunderstorms not expected. Same thing for tomorrow and same thing for Tuesday. As we go into the fire weather as well, nothing here. Excessive rainfall. Nothing for tonight, nothing for tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but Thursday comes along. And Thursday, we have a little isolated risk of some flash flooding. Long Creek, Walhalla, Salem is included in there as well. And that is for isolated flash flooding. Now, this will change. It's 5 days out. It could go away even. We'll see what happens with this. But for right now, I think that this is something just to kind of monitor. Very little part of the state, but people are still included, so we still need to talk about it. But that's all that I really have to say in terms of excessive rainfall. So let's go and look at the models. And, for the short term, not a lot. You go into the models for just tonight. Continue our way forward. Cold air really build its way through. Going into Monday. Going into Tuesday. Just nice and dry. High pressure takes over. And we may start to see some of that warm air starting to move its way back in as we get into Tuesday night, Wednesday. But for right now, cold air and dry conditions seem to take form as we go throughout the next 48 hours. Then as we go into our long-term future, we're going to start off here at the 54-hour mark. And you can see for the most part, as you push this forward, there is still not a whole lot even on Wednesday. It's not really until we get to around Thursday that we really start to see some of that rainfall activity move its way through, but especially as we go into Thursday night and Friday morning. That time frame right there, seeing some rainfall, even some downpour activity going on as we go all the way throughout into Friday, like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then as you continue this forward all the way to 7 o'clock in the morning on Friday, we still are kind of seeing it kind of move its way off. But by the time it moves its way off, it's going to be around Friday during like the afternoon time frame. Obviously, I can't give an exact time. But this is just what the model says for Friday afternoon. And then it kind of goes away. But, I would not be shocked one bit if, some coastal areas still see some rainfall chances as you move into Saturday, like the weekend time frame. And then we kind of go off into next week looking dry again. Now, doesn't really look, too crazy. I mean, this definitely could be a little cold front right here as we go into the end of this week. So make sure that you're paying attention for that. But if you continue this forward all the way throughout into Monday of next week, going into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just seeing spotty showers here and there, but nothing too crazy. High pressure actually takes over. And then by the time we get into Saturday, it's just too far out for the most part. Just too far out to really talk about specifics. But still a bit active as we go into like the March the 7th to like the 10th time frame. But the main thing that I want you to take away from this is that it's going to start off this week obviously cooler and dry. But then as you go on and just continue your way through all the way through Thursday And Friday, that's when things start to really pick up. But then after that, I think that's all that I really have to say here in terms of rainfall activity and in terms of our convection. Now, if we go into, our actual forecast for the week, we're going to go in and look at the averages. We're going to go in and look at the week forecast for the week of Sunday, February the 22nd, going into Saturday, February the 28th, the last full week, and just the last week in general of February, and then we'll move into March next week. So we're going to start off right here with our averages, and so you can already see right now that we do in fact have kind of a little split in terms of our temperatures for the week. Let me make sure, this is the right week. It kind of is a little bit of a split. You see some warmer conditions going on in the upstate, midland areas, parts of the PD areas, and then you start to see some cooler air going on in the low country, the Grand Strand areas as well. And then kind of like a little middle part over there for like the Midlands, Southern Midlands, going inside of the parts of the PD areas as well. So you are definitely seeing kind of that little split. And so what does that mean? Does it mean, it's going to be like 40 degrees in the low country and the Grand Strand and the coastal areas, and then it's going to be like 80 in the upstate? No, that's not what that means. It just means that on average for this week, temperatures in the upstate and in the midland areas are going to be a bit cooler than what they usually would be, or a bit warmer than what they usually would be. And temperatures inside of the low country and the Grand Strand, more PD-ish areas, are going to be a bit more in the cooler than average range for this time of year. So if we go on and even look at our precipitation as well, precipitation not really helpful. Obviously we're in a big drought right now. We definitely need the rainfall, and this is not a good sign. We're below average. The entire state is. So not good, especially for the drought. Not good. We definitely need to see rainfall, and the fact that we're not seeing it, not the best at all. Now, we can go on real quick and look at our precipitation for the week, how much rainfall we possibly could see as we go into the week. And, it's a reasonable amount, but it's nothing crazy. Maybe 8/10 of an inch up there in the upstate, 1/2 an inch in the midland areas, 4/10 of an inch inside of, like Sumter, Florence, 3/10 of an inch near the coastal areas, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less for some spots, 1/2 an inch over there near Augusta. So, it's not too bad, but it's also not as much as you may want to see if you want to really see that drought get out of here. So, but we'll take this rainfall 100%. We will 100% take this rainfall, especially in the upstate, because the upstate, that's where the worst drought is right now, in those counties right there being Abbeville, Lawrence, Union, parts of Cherokee, Spartanburg, Southern Greenville, and especially Anderson County. So those areas definitely need the rainfall the most out of everybody right now. But for the most part, that's what I have in terms of the rainfall. What about in terms of temperatures? Well, if we go on and look at the actual anomalies real quick, we're going to start off here Monday, going to Tuesday, obviously being below average, freezing temperatures as we go into tonight and then tomorrow night. And then as you go into Wednesday, we'll start to see things start to even out a little bit, trying to get more just near average. Then as you go all the way through Thursday, things start to warm up. Friday, things really try to warm up, but it won't last long. As we go into the weekend, like I said, cooler air will try to move its way through, and, we'll just be near normal for the weekend. And then that's pretty much the outlook on the week. We're going to start off below average, going to tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, those things will start looking to be normal. And then Thursday and Friday, we start to get above average. But then on Saturday, we will start to drop down in terms of temperatures. Now, if we go even into next week as well, things seem to definitely want to try and warm up as we go into next week. But like I said, another cold front tries to move its way through into later parts of next week. So we'll see what happens there as well. So cold front after cold front after cold front, that's the pattern with this. That's the thing that we're looking at right now. And so we just got to continue to stay with the program there. Even if we go into our temperatures as well, you go into temperatures for, let's just skip over to Wednesday. Wednesday right here, you see temperatures up into the 50s, 60s for a good amount of us on Wednesday. Not too bad. Then as we get into Thursday, we get back up in the 70s. You get back up into the 60s on Friday, but then it will cool right back down, like I said, down to like the 40s for lows, and then you kind of get right back up into the 70s-ish as you go into high temperatures on Sunday. But that's one thing that I will say about this warm up, this cool down later into later into this weekend, is that like once the cold front passes, it's not going to be as cold. You're not going to be seeing widespread freezing temperatures like the one tonight. In fact, we possibly still could be seeing 60s and 70s for high temperatures even after the cold front passes next weekend. So we'll see what happens. Maybe even some 80s as you go into the week after next week. But unfortunately, that won't really last too long either. So, everything else past that point, it's just a bit too far out. We're just going to have to continue to watch and just see what happens. So that's pretty much all I have to say here in terms of the long-term future. Don't think I'm missing anything else. I got temperatures, I got rainfall down, and I think that's about all. So let's go ahead and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, my Aunt Lulu was here first tonight. She says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a wonderful day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris said, was very cold here in Moncks Corner with strong winds. Same at my house. My Aunt Lulu says, Georgetown had highs today was 60 degrees. My high temperature today was around like a good 62. So about 2 degrees higher. Continue on, Mr. Chris said had a wind gust of up to 40 miles per hour here as well. Verifies. That's what the wind advisory said. Around wind gusts 45 miles per hour or so. Mr. Chris said we didn't even see 60 here in Moncks Corner. Malu says currently it's 43 degrees. Currently at my house right now it is right now 47. Right now around 47. Mr. Chris comes back and says currently it's 46 with the wind chill 42. And then Mr. Anthony says good evening everyone, good evening to you. Wow, no 60. Tomorrow local is saying our high will be 48. Yeah, it's going to be cold tomorrow. Going to be cold tomorrow. They're saying we're only going to get to 47. Then Mr. Michael comes in and says good Sunday evening. Pray everyone has a fantastic and blessed new week. Well, thank you so much for that. Maya says we started out with early morning showers. It rained like last night. I know that for sure. But like very, very early this morning, I don't think it really rained. I think it was fog last night, not this morning. Okay. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it did rain last night. I do remember that. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free. It helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. I mean, right now we have around a good 21 people that have tuned in so far, and we only have 7 likes. If you're a part of the 14 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind. Share, hit the subscribe button if you're new. Free weather information. No ads, no nothing like that. That says it was a very mild day here in San Antonio. High in around the mid-60s. The sun was shining, and it turned out pretty good. I had to get out and clean my sliding glass door because they needed some TLC. Well, honestly, it seems like it was a good day to do so. I mean, mid-60s, it could be a bit higher than that, but I think that, especially with the sun out, that probably warmed it up a lot. My outlook says we also had a lot of wind. Chris says winds are still kicking here in Moncks Corner, shaking the trailer. I'm not looking forward to freezing weather tonight. I'm not either. I'm already developing a cough. And I think it's, this cold front already is getting to me. This cold air is already getting to me already. And it just started. It just came back. We just, ended off with this warm air. My nan says, hello, Jay. Hello to you. And then Milo says, thank goodness it will be getting warmer this upcoming weekend. Kind of. More like towards, the later part of the week, like Thursday, Friday. As you go into the weekend, that's when things may calm down a little bit, or may cool down a little bit. I thought this cold was done with. Nope, we still got to get through, especially these next couple of days. And so that's all I can see really for me. So let's go in and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 4 locations outside of South Carolina. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma, The reason why we talk about these 4 areas because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on to give them their forecast. In South Carolina, not even being their main location, they still tune in. So we're gonna go on and give it to them. Starting off with San Antonio first. You have low temperatures tonight at around 38 degrees. Yes, you are reading that correctly. That says 38. High temperatures tomorrow at 65, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 42. Precipitation not expected at this time. Now, for the most part, I mean, in terms of your severe weather, your excessive rainfall, not really expected. Not really expected at this time for right now. In fact, none of these 4 areas have any risk for any sort of excessive rainfall. I can go in and rule you out on that for sure. In terms of your future, though, looks like, as I've been saying for just forever now, you will be warming up as you go into next week, or pretty much, I guess, this week now. 76 on Tuesday, potentially even 88 on Wednesday. I said you could potentially reach 90 degrees on Wednesday, and it's still there. 88, that's only 2 degrees off. You could still reach 90 on Wednesday, so you're going to have to definitely let us know if you get to 90. And then after that, I mean, it may get a bit breezy on Tuesday and Thursday. Other than that, just continuing to stay in the 80s. Now, as we go into Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 25, high temperatures tomorrow at 58, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around a good 39. So, I mean, for the most part, what does it look like? It just looks like that you will not be receiving any sort of, just not really any sort of precipitation, no sort of rainfall until you get into around the later parts of the week. I mean, you get 50% chance of rainfall on Thursday, maybe 80% on Thursday night as well. So that's what you're just looking at there. And maybe a little bit of a mistake there, but I think I accidentally flipped these real quick. So it's actually 47 tomorrow for your high and then 27 tomorrow for your low. So I do apologize for that. But the precipitation, that's still the same. And then in terms of your wind chills, I mean, you're going to have wind chills, especially going into tomorrow and Tuesday, getting down to the 20s. So, that's what you're going to expect there. And those wind gusts will also still be pretty high, 33 tonight, 26 tomorrow. And then, like I said, in terms of your future, in terms of temperatures, looks like that you will be warming up back up into the 60s. But that's about it. You're not really going to get too much higher than that until maybe you get into around Sunday of next week, but that's a long ways away. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 30, high temperatures tomorrow at 35, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 21. Heavy snow definitely will be an issue as you go throughout tonight. Same thing for tomorrow. I mean, 90% chance of heavy snow tomorrow. And it may be blowing as well, because obviously you'll have those wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour tonight, 40 miles per hour tomorrow. It's going to be heavy. So, if you don't have to go out tonight, don't do so. It's going to be just absolutely atrocious out there. And then also, with snow accumulations of up to 10 to 14 inches possible, and maybe even an additional 3 to 5 tomorrow. So you're definitely going to see most likely a foot of snowfall as you go into tomorrow combined. So that's what you're expecting there. And also, one thing that I did not mention as well, you're in a blizzard warning as well. So blizzard conditions are expected as you go into tonight, into tomorrow up there in Philadelphia. So make sure that you're paying attention for that. In terms of your future, though, past this whole blizzard scenario, you will be warming up, Wednesday 42, Thursday 44. And then, you'll probably try to get back into the 50s until later next week, or later this week, going into early parts of next week's, Sunday or so. And then finally, the final location, that being Duncan, Oklahoma. And let me make sure, because, yeah, okay. Everything seems to be all right on this slide, because I seem to have a habit of going on and for some reason flipping Duncan and Riley's forecast sometimes. So it is right, though. With low temperatures tonight at 25, high temperatures tomorrow at 58, and the low temperatures tomorrow night at 39. Precipitation not expected at this time. You will see some gusty conditions maybe on Tuesday, gusts as high as 30 miles per hour is possible. So make sure that you're watching out for that. And then other than that, It's going to continue to warm up. 75 on Tuesday, 80 on Wednesday, 79 Saturday, 75 on Friday. So it will warm up. Definitely do not think that this cold will be staying here forever. And no severe weather, except for a little bit of a fire risk. Not the convection type of severe weather, but the more fire risk. Yes, there is another fire risk, unfortunately. And it is for Tuesday, February the 24th, where you do, in fact, have an elevated risk right now. More critical, more trying to get into that critical spot, around 40 to a 69% probability of fire weather within 12 miles of a given point. And so, you're more in that, like I said, that elevated risk right now. So make sure that you're paying attention for that. Don't burn anything on Tuesday if you don't have to. And that is all that I really have to say for tonight. So let's go on real quick and look at a picture that I got. This one was from Thad. I didn't show it last night because I was on like an hour late and there were only like 10 people on. So I was like, well, you know what? I guess I'll show it tomorrow. And it is tomorrow. So we're going to go on and show it. This was his picture he sent in on February the 20th that says, beautiful day. And it shows highs up near 80 degrees. So thank you so much for this picture over there in San Antonio. If you want to go on and send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather, like South Carolina, weather, 360@gmail.com. Let's go and give him a round of applause for sending in that picture. So that's it there. Also, let's go and look at the top fans of the night for tonight. Let me see. Here it is right over here. Top fans of the night for tonight seems to be a bit glitched out by YouTube. So we're going to go and I'm going to have to do it manually. Let's see. I see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Okay. So Mr. Chris at number 1, Maya Lulu is at number 2 for tonight, and then Thad is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a top fan of the night for the night, you can by joining us here early, being a subscriber of the channel, as well as being active and early inside the chat. Because if you're not, well, then you won't be able to go on and be a part of the top fans, so go on and do so. Thad says, I just took a bow. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that picture as well. Really do appreciate that picture. Again, send it to scweather360@gmail.com if you want to also take a bow as well. But that's all that I can see here. Let's see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., weather news-wise real quick before we get out of here. A major winter storm is expected to bring heavy snow, strong winds, and coastal flooding across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast that may cause impossible travel conditions and power outages. Blizzard conditions are possible along coastal areas from the Delmarva Peninsula all the way through southeastern New England. Wet weather and strong winds return to the Pacific Northwest and north central California. We also will see some dangerous cold tonight throughout South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Not only that, but also there will be some fire weather potential in Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and Florida as well. So a lot of stuff going on for sure. A lot of stuff going on. So just make sure that you're prepared for it. Make sure that everybody else that you know outside of South Carolina is prepared for their weather as well, especially if they're along that coast up there from the Delmarva area all the way up past Philadelphia, past New York City, past all the way into Boston. I mean, that area is just going to get hit hard with blizzard conditions and potentially like a foot or more of snowfall. But that's all that I can see here. I don't see anything else that I'm forgetting. Make sure if you've not hit the like button yet, hit the subscribe button if you're new. And then also share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to. You can share it to somebody who's at the gas station just working. Just go and give them a free weather forecast. Costs nothing. 9 o'clock p.m. And that's all that I have to say. So I'll be back tomorrow morning with your Monday morning forecast update. Make sure that you're there. And then I'll be back tomorrow evening with your Monday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. and make sure you go on and hit those two buttons before you leave.